dude, how many deals do you have going right now? Like throughout all your people, ballpark?
Like 1,100 maybe?
Yeah, 1,100.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you've
there's a
got a
bunch.
pretty good data set that
Yeah.
you're working with. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what I tell people. That kind of the thing that makes me chuckle, and probably wrongfully so, is people say, "But can you do my deal? My deal's different." I'm like, well,
Oh yeah.
after 4,000 or 5,000 deals, it's not. It's pretty rare that we actually get something that's unique, and then it's like a buzz around the office, like, oh, something new, something that we've never seen before. But yeah, it's that's sort of the advantage, right, of working with us, is we've just done it all at this point. Even for me in my own business, where I did like 1,500 deals before we even started the transactions company. Like, I thought I had seen a lot of stuff, but yeah, at this point.
I closed a deal today that I've had for almost a year.
Really?
Yeah, nuts.
I need to pull that forward a little. Hopefully you guys can hear us. But yeah, we get deals like that. Angela, one of our other team leads, just closed one that had been about a year.
About a year, yeah.
Yeah, so that happens, But the great thing is, otherwise, that that client would have probably just cut that deal loose and not ever got paid on it. But it just kind of goes into our pipeline, and we're just working it behind the scenes, and then all of a sudden there's a $42,000 payday for somebody. So that's pretty cool.
I love that. Yeah, when those deals that take forever, when you finally get to scratch that itch and they close,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that's laughing, because not a couple like that with me lately.
Yeah, if that was just me,
Oh.
back before I had a coordinator or before we had EZ, like, I would have cut that thing loose. Like, I would have just moved on, right? Because at the end of the day, there's only, we say, flaming bowling ball pins. There's only so many of those you can have up in the air at a time. And you're like, oh, that deal's probably never going to close. I'm just going to focus on the things that are important, the now things, right? But this is where we talk about, building up a pipeline, having all of those deals still in some kind of motion and moving forward, but you not having to spend your time worrying about it every single day. Like, oh, what's going on with this bankruptcy thing? Oh, has it gone to court yet? Do we have a court order? Is the judge going to, release us from the bankruptcy, whatever it is? Where for us, it's just, that is our pipeline. That's what we're working out of every single day. So, yeah.
100%. When you're new and starting out in wholesaling, like, anyone that'll even talk to you, much less sign a contract, like, you want to hold on to that.
Dude, you're like a 14-year-old boy.
What I mean?
Just talk to me. Just talk to me.
I feel like there should
As
be
your
a whole,
pipeline builds up, you start having to making decisions, and opportunity cost becomes a bigger factor. And we run into that too. We're like, hey, we can make 10K on this, but is it worth taking? You know what I mean? Is it worth the opportunity cost of everything we're gonna have to jump through? So, dude, I know you have the format of this, just for everybody. Dave's got a short presentation, so just so he can fire the information into us with pretty visuals and all that, and then we're gonna do some Q&A afterwards. So if you have some good title questions, law questions, obviously he's not a lawyer, he can't give you legal advice, but he does have a very unique perspective, and he'll answer as best he can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I can tell you what I would do, what we would do, what we see are, some of our biggest clients. So guys, real quick, I love that you guys all have your videos on. That's awesome. Preston's got the gun there behind his head, so we're gonna pay special attention to him. He looks like he's serious business. But guys, have you ever seen either Hannah or I talk? Like, just raise your hand, because if you have, I can shift it up just a little bit. Other than Matt, you have? Okay, Dominic, cool. All right, yeah, we've got a presentation that we do that kind of touches on a lot of stuff. I'm gonna go through it kind of quick today, because the fun part for me on these is really more taking questions and just kind of back and forth and talking about what your guys are seeing in the market and some of the struggles you're having. And that's really, for me, I would much rather do that, is kind of come on and give you guys some value and help you solve some problems. So let me share my screen here. Cool. All right. Awesome. Hopefully everybody can see that. I need to be working on two monitors here. Guys, one of the things that I like to kind of talk about, we briefly touched on it before, is, before we founded Easy REI Closings 3 years ago, I was a wholesaler. I've been an investor since 2002, so far too long, over 20 years, but a full-time wholesaler since June of 2009. So, you know, I've seen lots of things in the business, and not all of them were great, right? And you know, people look at us now, like Rich said, and sure, we do a lot of deals and do a lot of things in real estate, but it wasn't always like that. I will tell you, when I first started out in this business, I suffered from, you know, what a lot of people struggle with, right? And I get to talk to lots of clients and people who want to do sales calls all the time. And, you know, my problem, the thing that really held me back for really just, you know, probably 5 or 6 years in the beginning was I really suffered from, and if you guys have ever felt this, raise your hand, but I had to do everything myself, right? Nobody's smarter than me. Nobody works harder than me. Nobody's going to care as much as me. Nobody will do as good a job as me. That kind of, I wore that like workaholic as a badge of honor, and it's great, right? You know, I certainly did some deals, but there was a limit, there was a ceiling on how many deals that I could do, you know, over any, you know, couple of weeks or a month, right? And for me, you know, doing all of it, the marketing, acquisitions, dispositions, and the transactions and the closing stuff, it was 3 to 5, right? And, you know, that's okay. But if I wanted to scale it and turn it into a real business, then I had to figure something out. And that was hard for me, right? My brother was my partner at the time. He's like, let's hire some VAs, let's do all these things. And I'm like, no, man, they're gonna suck. They're not gonna be good. And, you know, I had to really shift that thinking. And it wasn't just transactions, right? And, you know, for you guys, I just want you to kind of understand this. It was somebody do my PPC marketing, right? Somebody do my property management, somebody do the bookkeeping, somebody do the accounting, right? All of those different things in your business. If it's going to be a real business and not just a job that you own, you know, you're going to have to bring in some people. You're going to have to bring in, you know, amazing people, you know, for me, like Hannah, and, you know, luckily we have a great team, a phenomenal team. But like, that wasn't where I was when I started, and that was kind of an evolution for me. So I just kind of always like to bring that up. It just, you know,
the smartest entrepreneurs in the world find people who can do things better than them.
Yeah.
And then they let them do their job.
Yeah, and that's 100% true. You know, if you look at anybody that runs a big company, they are not doing it all themselves. And I kind of bring all that up because that's, at the end of the day, I think that's the biggest just emotional hurdle that people have to overcome when, you know, choosing someone like us to work with them. So, you know, kind of where I like to start is, again, you know, where I was in 2009, right? I was working my ass off. I'm doing everything I can to try to get this business off the ground. I'm pushing this boulder up the hill. And, you know, I felt like I was working my ass off, right? I'm doing everything I possibly can. I'm seeing other people that are incredibly successful, that are on the golf course half the day. Like, how are these guys doing it? You know, they're making more money than me. And ultimately, like, I wanted to grow my business, but I didn't want to spend a ton of money, right? Because we understand you want your revenue to go up, but you need your expenses to stay a little bit lower, right? You need that you know, difference in the graph there. That's where your profit comes in. So I really had some things that I was struggling with in a big way. And what am I doing here? Okay. And, you know, so kind of, you know, the things that I really want to share with you guys today is how to grow your business faster, right? How to stop losing those deals at the closing table. Just before we really cranked up EZ, I lost a deal for $106,000. $106,000. And it was because of a realtor and a title company just did everything they could to screw up my deal, right? So, I mean, and that's not the only one. That's one of the bigger ones, but I had one for like $74,000 or $76,000 die that 100% was the title company bringing everybody together and putting them all in the same email chain. So, you know, those are real struggles, and we want to talk about how you can overcome that. And we're going to talk very specific about novations here in a minute, which is why I have Hannah, because she does more novations than anybody in the country. But, you know, what I wanted to do is I wanted to focus on the parts of the business that I enjoy. Because here's the thing, right? We're all entrepreneurs, we're all business owners, everybody on this call, and we're all amazing at something, right? Like, every single person on here is amazing at one part of the business, maybe 2 parts. You know, I know what I'm good at. I'm really good at sales and dispositions and transactions, but I'm not great at everything. And the struggle for me was there were parts of the business that I didn't love. And again, kind of going back to I've got to do everything myself. I'm the, you know, all that bullshit. Right? I'm the smartest guy. Nobody works harder than me. And I had to figure a way out of that. How I could just spend my time focused on the parts of the business that I really enjoyed. And if you guys want to write something down, go buy this book, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. Greatest thing you're going to read. It's going to change your life. Absolutely amazing. Get the audiobook. That's what I got. But you know, you know, and I kind of knew this, but it really hammered this point home, that if I could just put all my energy into the parts of the business that really jazzed me up and got me out of bed, then, you know, and I brought in people who were experts to handle the other parts, what would that do for my business? And it's done nothing but, you know, kind of shoot it up into the right. And then, you know, why did we all get into this business? Right? For some type of work-life balance. And I know that's hard to do, especially in the beginning, but, you know, what are the things that we can put in place to, you know, to help us kind of get there, right? So, so cool. I'll let Hannah talk for a little bit.
Yeah, so I guess we are easy. We are the nation's transactions coordinating company, and a big way to help scale your business is bringing on somebody who can do your paperwork, somebody who can handle those tasks and work with your current operations that you have, the way that you're trying to do deals, you know, reducing some of your costs too. We often help our clients offset some of admin fees to sellers and buyers so they can recoup extra money at the closing table alongside their fee. But we are the premier, largest transactions company that specializes specifically in investment deals. So not only do we do probably 50% of our volume in novations, but we do subject twos and owner finance and installments and wraps, all of that jazz there. So, you know, I talk to our clients all the time. I'm the client relations manager, and you know, hearing their stories of them freeing up their time so they can expand their business, checking in with them on month 3 and hearing that they've brought on 3 new salespeople. You can't do that if you don't have time to do that. And so a big part of what we do is helping you buy back your time, helping you with all the administrative tasks. You can focus really on what you're good at, which is securing the deal and talking to sellers and buyers and locking up those contracts.
Yeah, that's the stuff that ultimately moves the needle in all of our business, right? And I get it. You know, maybe we all do deals other than novations, right? But, you know, certainly should be doing novations because they pay better than anything else. But there are going to be times where you're going to want to do sub 2 or novation, or maybe an installment method or something like that. But yeah, you know, the advantage of working with us and how we can help you is you're literally tapping into a company that has done, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 transactions, right? So, you know, something I'll often say to people is close your eyes, right? Just close your eyes and think of that deal that just made you want to get a fork and dig your eyeballs out. Right? Like, that's just a Tuesday for us, right? That's just the normal stuff that we do every day, especially with Rich's deals. But no, they're not that bad. But yeah, I mean, you know, stop losing sleep over those kinds of deals. You know, work on getting them contracted, hand that off to us, and you know, we can take it from there. And you know, let's talk about what we did. I know Rich brought it up in the beginning, which was very kind. But yeah, just in 2023, we did 2,202 files. That's probably more than if everybody on the call here added up what they'll do in the next 5 years, right? That's just a lot of deals. And I'm not telling you this to brag, because first off, I didn't close any of those deals. Hannah and her team did all of those. But you know, I just want you to understand that yeah, we can do your deals. We will get your deal over the finish line. $238 million in closings, and almost $29 million in novation fees and assignment fees, right? So it's just a credibility thing. I just want you to understand that, you know, we will get your closed. If it's humanly possible to get it closed, you know, we will close it. And what does that do for you, right?
What would you do if you saved one deal that was a $50,000 profit? Just one deal, that's $50K. What would you do with that? Put it in your marketing. You could probably hire another person on your team. Just having one deal saved can make a huge difference.
Yeah, and you know, I'll tell you something that we know, Rich and I know, just from kind of being at the top of the industry and by getting behind the curtain sometimes, is the reality is somewhere between 40 and 50% of all contracted deals die. Think about that for a minute. And that may be your experience, it may not be, but as an industry whole, and this is from a survey of the biggest CRM providers, 40% at a minimum, 40% of your deals are going to die, 4 out of 10. And of those, you know, some of them are because they're contracted too high, but over half of that is just title issues that are insurmountable, right? And I'm not here to tell you we can close every single deal. We're not going to say that, but I promise you we'll close a lot more than you'll ever close on your own.
And I will sit here for a year until it does get closed.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, solving problems, man. You know, and you know, what is it that we can do for you? You know, Rich opened up talking about lost opportunities and missed deals. You can certainly do your own transactions. I am not here to say you can't. I'm my way through them in the beginning and then somehow found a way to get through it. You can go out there and change your own oil this afternoon. You know, I know for me, I'd get underneath my truck and I get stuck like Winnie the Pooh and you just see my legs kicking, right? Like, it's not the best use of my time, right? What should I be doing? We talked about it earlier. What is that thing in your business that you are absolutely amazing at, right? What is that thing that literally gets you out of bed and it's, you know, you're so fired up you can't get to sleep at night? That's the thing you should be doing in your business, not tracking down a title company in Nebraska who will do a novation, right?
This file that I've been talking about today for a year, I'm bringing it to the forefront because it is today, but it's also just a wild example of this as well. So it is a novation. Just for backstory, it was in New Jersey. The seller and the buyer had separate attorneys. The seller's attorney was doing the clearing. They found 87 pages of judgments, and a lot of the creditors were not responding until like after hours. So I was often on the phone at like 9, 10 o'clock at night trying to get a hold of attorneys for their payoffs. The seller's husband had passed away, and she didn't know that he had put his best friend on title before he died. And so then there's a third party involved who like wants money from the estate. We went through 3 or 4 different buyers agents, a few different kinds of loans, a debacle with the city over whether or not it was inhabitable, getting a certificate of occupancy, getting an affidavit signed to make sure the property could be fixed. And literally pulled it together today. It'll be 1 year next week. So, you know, it can be done. Nobody wanted to sit there on the phone at 10 o'clock at night calling the attorneys, but the title company and I were doing that because we knew that we had to get the payoff in to close. Nobody wanted to be telling the county that their requirement for closing wasn't actually a requirement. You know, we were just stringing them along like we had to get it done. So, you know, it can be done. Those are the missed deals, the missed opportunities. And I mean, you don't want to see the email chains. There's probably like 70 or 80 of them, and there's thousands of emails. You know, you don't want to be sending the contract to the wrong attorney or the wrong agent. So having somebody there to really support you on the back end and push your deal every single day, it matters.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Raise your hand if you would have hung with this deal for a year. I'm telling you, I wouldn't have. And how much, what are they making?
They're making like 40,000. Yeah.
So,
and last week they were like, hey, we want to bring in a new buyer. I was like, nope, we're ready to close. We're sticking with this buyer.
Yeah. So who'd like that for a nice, you know, what are we in? End of July present, 40 grand that closed today that you did a year ago, right? So that's just kind of how we can help you solve those problems. You know, novations, you know, I tell people all the time, novations are freaking great. They're also the easiest deals to screw up, right? As you guys know, because here's what we do as, you know, when we're dealing with investor buyers, right? They're a little bit more forgiving. They're a pain in the but they're a little more forgiving. But when you're dealing with, you know, retail agents and retail title companies who do not deal with any of our nonsense, you know, and you can speak way better about this than me, but it's so easy for those deals to go sideways. I just got a call from a big coach the other day that in a panic that is, what was John's deal? 40 or 50 grand?
Texas, yeah. He was just missing one form.
Yeah, but he didn't control the deal, and it went to a bad title company, and the title company spooked the agent, and then the agent, you know, told the buyer, and the buyer bounced out, and it was like an easy $40,000 or $45,000 deal. So, you know, that's kind of those complications where you have to understand what should go to who, how it should go where, and just really keeping control of the deal. And again, you can do that. I'm not here to say that you guys aren't smart enough or good enough to do that, but if you're doing that, you're not getting that next $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 deal, right? So, you know, just kind of navigating all of that. And then, my Lord, you know, when we started EZ, one of our plans was we knew we had to be in all 50 states. And that's, you know, you guys are probably all visionaries like me. In your brain, that sounds like the easiest of things. But they all love to do just a little different, right? There's title states, abstract states, attorney states, escrow states, some combination of 2 if you're in California. You know, and then beyond that, you know, 3,100 counties who, my God, just love to do different. I swear they just dream up stuff that's going to be different for their particular county so they can be unique. And you know,
we're doing one in New Mexico right now, and the county in New Mexico will only record property transactions on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That's it. Every other day they can't do it. So we had to push closing from last week to today because what in the heck? I've never heard that before, but okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you can navigate all that stuff, but is it going to cost you deals? Because the one thing we do know, right? We all know that time kills all deals, right? So the longer these things sit out there, the more likely they are to go sideways, which is why, you need somebody that's going to touch base with that coordinator or that seller and buyer every single week so that they can keep these things on track. And that's the trick, right? You need to build a good team. So that's the answer. I'm going to tell you, that's the answer to the test here, is you're going to have to build a team. So then the question becomes, do you want to build an in-house team or, hire somebody like us who is the best in the business? And I'm not telling you we're the answer for everybody, right? Like, we might jump on the call and I might tell you guys that we're probably not a good fit, but if you're going to hire in-house, how many of you guys have done hiring? Raise your hand. Like, you've hired people. Rich, I know you're hiring. Yeah. So it's Indeed ads or whatever platform is out there. And then you're going to be reading resumes, and then you're going to call people, and people aren't going to show up for interviews. And then you will interview them 2 or 3 times, and then you're going to make an offer, and that person took another job, and then you're going to start all over again. Then you're going to hire them, and you're going to do paperwork, and you're going to train them, and then you've got to manage them. And then you hope, fingers crossed, you hope you got the right person that understands how to do your transactions.
I would also chime in on that. Like, one of the things that we really pride ourselves in, and I'm sure David will talk about this later as well, is we have an all in-house team. So there's a lot of collective shared knowledge. I might close 10 deals a week, but so are 10 other people in this office. So the shared experience is not something you can train somebody in-house for. They come in, they might have done TC work before, but they might be closing 1 or 2 deals, 3 deals a month for you. That's great, versus the experience of a TC who's closing 15 a week, 60 a month. That is fast tracking the knowledge cap. They are so much faster. So even if we have a new coordinator working in our office, they're light years ahead of somebody who's never been trained, because they have access to all of those deals.
Right. So again, simple stuff, exactly what you just said. We're just trying to, elevate your game, to the next level just as quickly as we can. Experience is going to help you, right? This is the whole reason we all go to coaches and mentors and go to events, right? So we can learn, and get better. And, the funny thing is, I hear people say, oh my God, with you guys, I feel like I have better control over my deals than when I was doing it, right? Because I know for sure, somebody's doing it every single day. So again, I'm not gonna beat on all this stuff. We've been doing this. I've been doing this for over 20 years. We do all the different types of deals, all of our coordinators, and you could probably talk about this before we even put them on the phone with our sellers and buyers and clients. They go through a really rigorous training program.
Yeah, they have to do a bunch of practice files. So we go through old close files, and they have to do all of the steps of the transaction. Once they've closed or assisted in a close of every deal, they have to take a test and get certified. So we don't take it lightly, and especially being in all 50 states, there's not just our experience, but we partner with over 400 title companies too. So being able to have those partnerships teed up for you as well, we'll do it all.
Yeah. And again, it was super important for us that everybody be in office here, and everybody comes in 8:30 to 5:30 or 6, and they're just focused on getting your deals closed. I mean, to be able to tap into that is pretty amazing. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of our mantra here. We want you to do more deals, make more money, and really just have more freedom. So, freedom to do more deals, or go sit on a beach. Yeah, sit on a beach someplace, which doesn't sound terrible. And speaking of sitting on a beach, Sam, one of our early clients, we were just saying earlier, he is in Paris right now for the Olympics. But what he's not worried about is getting any deals closed, right? So he can literally leave the company based on a 6-hour time difference, and know that his deals are still going to close, so that revenue, that cash flow is still going to continue to come in. And Sam, great investor, young guy, like the quintessential.
He's in our group.
Yeah. Sam's amazing.
I don't think he's on this call, but yeah, he's in the Rainmaker. It's cool.
Yeah, he's in Paris. I was texting him last night. But I mean, great guy, but not great at paperwork. And one of the things that we were able to help him grow his business is by coming in and eliminating that paperwork and some of the admin tasks. So super great investor. Love everything that he's doing. But
Oh yeah, the biggest challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of your challenges were my current challenges when I first started working with Easy. When we originally created Easy, we had this idea that we wanted to work with just a couple nationwide title companies, and
it was the greatest idea.
Easy peasy, and we'd send it to the same title company every time. And very quickly, when it was me holding down the fort, I was like, oh no. I need to have some title friends in every state. I need to have attorneys in every state. I need somebody who's going to be able to go to bat for me based on the regulations of this state. And so we started the process of building a portfolio of investor-friendly title companies. We put them through a rigorous vetting process. There's probably 30 questions we have them answer. Who do you underwrite with? What types of deals do you do? Can you do a daisy chain? How do you do earnest money submission? All the things that we know that we're gonna need to know when you submit that deal on 123 Main Street. Okay, is this title company the best match? So not only have we built that part of our system, but we'll pick for you. So based on what we know about your deal, helps us, navigate who's gonna be the best fit to close that. We gather all the paperwork that's needed to clear title. So when we're submitting a deal to the title company, you don't even have to be involved. You can see all of the updates on the file in real time. We keep those visible and accessible to you, but you don't want to be in an email chain with 16 other people that a new email's coming through every 3 minutes. That's a lot to keep track of. So if the title commitment comes back and we need a death certificate, we're gathering that with the seller. We're building rapport with your seller. We're working through lost mortgages and coordinating signatures at closing, and ultimately at the end of the day, have a general understanding of what works and what doesn't work in each state. We also assist with filing memos and notices of contract, in areas we can e-file or getting people connected. Full disclosure, you can't do that in every county, but if you can, we'll do it. We understand that protecting your interests is important as well. So ultimately it's about, cutting it down on those lost deals, those lost revenues, and making sure that you have somebody in your corner, because just because it's a challenge doesn't mean it can't be overcome. That's what we run into every single day.
So, because I've been an investor for 20 years and full-time for 14 when we started the company, like, everything that we do is from the wholesaler's perspective, right? From your perspective, because you're our client. So yeah, Hannah's right. Originally, I'm like, oh, it'll just be great. We'll have one or two title companies that'll do all of this stuff. I'm like, well, that didn't work. So then we were on the search for, we realized that was a flaw. One person can't handle that many deals. So great. So we built out, and when I say we, mostly Hannah, that kind of portfolio of all those title companies. But then even beyond that, we realized, how could we make it better? And about a year ago, we embarked on a process of opening our own in-house title company. So we are, licensed in a couple of states. We should be ready in 3 weeks, I was told today, in Texas. Arizona, Ohio are coming up next. But yeah, Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia's on the map. So, our goal is to bring all of that in-house, just so that we can compress time and spin the wheel of your business just faster and faster and faster. So, I don't know if you guys know Alex Romanoff. Alex came to us with already a thriving freaking business. I'm gonna read down here at the bottom, $97,000 a month in revenue in March. Dude, let's be clear, like, that's an amazing month on anybody's standard, right? To do that consistently over and over again. But he still realized that, hey, I can do more, I can do better, right? So, when you see somebody like that, that's already operating at such a high level, and they're still looking for ways, to increase, their revenue and, sales and all that stuff. But anyways, they came to us. So he went from 97 in revenue in March, and in May they did 750,000 in a month. Guys.
He literally blasted off. He came in with 3 deals, and before the end of March was over, he had added 8 people to his team, and they had 36 deals in the pipeline. So it can be done. Yeah,
and that's 3 months. And, I think they were 811 or 815, something like that was probably their biggest month ever. But, why did they grow like that? It wasn't because I was contracting their deal and I wasn't selling their deal. But now everybody in that business was single-mindedly focused on going out and getting the right deal. Single-minded about going out and making sure these deals were selling, right?
They didn't have to pick the title company. They didn't have to talk to crazy Karen every day who calls you and crying on the phone. They didn't have to remind title to put an extra fee on the HUD, none of that.
So when we say we will save you time and that will make you more money, like this is it. And we see this over and over and over again with our clients, right? The people that come in and really, are committed to growing their business, it's very achievable. It's not as difficult as people think. Again, we've talked about a lot of this stuff, but what's different from us, we are literally the only company, I guarantee you, that has closed deals in all 50 states. A lot of people will say they can, if you listen to the words they're saying, but they have not closed deals in all 50 states with all transaction types. We are, again, also the only company that has everybody in office. So, when someone's like, hey, I got a foreclosure in Indiana, who's done one over there? Boom, somebody in this office has done that and can fast track your deal and get it closed quick. And, my goal from the very beginning has been, how do we do this where it's literally just this like white glove concierge service level for you, where it's 100% turnkey. Turn that contract over to us and go get your next deal. Go worry about selling your deal. Let us take all of that off of your plate. So I'm going to talk about the portal.
Yeah, so I'm sure some of you guys are wondering, like, well, if I'm not involved with title, how do I know what's going on in my deal? Which is kind of a huge important point of what we do. Once you get to the point where you've got more than 3 deals going at a time, you probably need some way of tracking it. So when we started Easy, we developed a CRM system that allows not only for us to track data across the board, if you want to know how many wholesale deals we've done in Indiana, I can tell you, but to create a space where you as the investor can know everything that's going on, all of the key points. And so we created this portal so you can literally log in at any time of the day or night and see everything that your coordinator has done for you. Every time they've called a seller, texted a seller, emailed title, what they followed up on. And is EMD in? Is the title commitment in? All of those things are very, very visible to you so that you have that peace of mind that, okay, hey, somebody is doing all of the things for me. I can sit back and focus on working my next deal. So transparency and communication are key for us in that regard. Our coordinators often work on 60 deals at a time, so they got to keep track of themselves too, and that just ends up benefiting you. So imagine like the Domino's pizza tracker, how your pizza moves from like ordered to being baked, we're ready to pick up. That's kind of how we track your deals through different phases of the deal, and so you can see all of that very, very clearly. And yeah, we're really proud of that.
Yeah, again, because I've done this a bunch of times in my own personal life before we started the business. One thing I didn't want is what happened to me. I would call the title company and Stephanie's going to be my closing coordinator. Great. So I call her the next week and she's like, oh, we're transferred over to Steve. Great. Transfer me to Steve. Hi, I'm on vacation for the next 2 weeks. Bob's going to be handling my deal, right? None of that like whack-a-mole where you're trying to figure out who's got your deal. So when your file gets assigned to a coordinator, that coordinator follows it all the way to the end. So there's no delays and, oh, I just got this file, let me see if I can figure out what's going on, right? So they see that from start to finish, and what that does is it creates a great level of relationship and rapport with your seller. So that seller's going to stay on board. They're going to be the same person talking to the title company the whole way. So they're going to understand how to overcome those hurdles and get it through just as quick as possible. So super great feature that again nobody else does for you. My man Ryan, he just makes the cut here because he has the greatest quote ever. I don't want to ever go back to that dirty past life when we were doing TC in-house, because it sucks. I mean, I tell people I own the biggest company in the country and I wouldn't want to do this every day, right? We have a special type of people that we hire that aren't us. Like most of us here, we're all salespeople. But the people that thrive as coordinators are not salespeople, right? They're the other side of the coin. They're the people that love spreadsheets and follow-up calls and
the ones that dream about lists.
Yeah, that's not most of us, right? Which is why we struggle with this, right? Because it's just not the thing that we're built to do. So we were very intentional that, we're kind of that, we complete you, right? We will help round out that business and handle the things that you don't want to do. So,
And it is a relationship in that regard. I tell people all the time, like, just because we're in the business of transactions, like, it's very much a relationship. I'm sure some of y'all have title companies that you're really good friends with, right? You want to send your stuff to them. So we're here to build a relationship with you. So that's exactly what you want to do with us.
So yeah, literally guys, I will tell you, and we can jump on an individual call and talk about, so how do we bill, right? That's always the question. We do work on a subscription model because I could do it far cheaper. somebody sent me a competitor's website yesterday, and what they charge for one deal that you guys would do, we will do 5. So we are literally 20% of the cost of them, and I'm not going to blast them on an open thing here, but yeah, what some people are charging for transactions is just ridiculous. How can we, a lot of people ask us how we can do it for the price we do it. And because we're a scaled up company, we're doing thousands of transactions a month. So, we have the ability to do it for a lower cost. And that is always our goal, is to, do the best job at the lowest price, which, defies the laws of business, but, we've done it so far. Every client gets a personal CRM, we call it a portal. One coordinator for each deal, but new in 2024 is the in-house title company, and as that grows and expands out to more states where the most amount of business is, our goal is to get your deals closed faster. Everything with us is time compression. How quickly can I get you from the day you contract that property to the day it closes? How do I keep shaving time off of that, right? Because everybody wants to get paid quicker. I know, like every single one of you, I don't even need to ask. And then just looking, we know that the landscape is changing, right? Clearly, again, closing as many deals as we do in as many states, we see things coming a mile away. And, before this year, I wanted to come into 2024 with options for you guys, where if things change and you need to have hard money, bridge loans, transactional funding, that we could do that for you at literally the lowest possible price. And we've got a great list of vendors that will provide to you that, if you need to double close it, we've got those resources for you. And then, my private Rolodex of vendors and partners of, all of the top people in the industry. For instance, when clients come to us and like, hey, I want to learn Novations, Rich, call Rich. He's the guy. So, imagine across the whole spectrum of real estate, we've got all of those people for you. But why did we all get into this, right? It wasn't to do paperwork. Probably wasn't even to negotiate with sellers every day. Some of you may love it, but you got in here for a reason. That why, right? That everybody always talks about. And maybe it wasn't private jets or, houses in Aspen, but there was a reason, right? It might have been as simple as, I want to get off at 2:00 every day so I can go pick up my daughter at school, right? Or I want to travel, or I want to go to Paris and go to the Olympics, or I want to go to South Africa and,
If you did get into this to do paperwork, I'm hiring.
yeah. If you are looking, that was your mission, right? But what was the reason you got into this, right? And what is it that's keeping you from doing those things? And we do know because we've talked to so many clients that paperwork is taking up 25 to 30% of your time if you're doing any kind of volume of deals, and it will be the thing that keeps you from scaling. So that's kind of what we do, man. That's the short version. Again, I want you to do more deals. I want you to make more money and have more time and freedom. Again, freedom to do more deals, or to go sit on the beach, or go to Paris, or just sleep in, right? Like whatever it is that you want to do, let us take care of all of that paperwork for you. And Hannah alluded to it a little earlier. The average deal for investors in 2023 was $18,263. So if all we did was help save one of those a quarter, chances are we'll help you save one a month, or 2 a year, right? That's almost $40,000. I promise you, the cost of us is far cheaper than that. But you're going to lose deals. It's going to happen. Do not lose deals over title issues. It's crazy, right? I can tell you I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in deals in the very beginning because I just didn't understand what I was doing. And then, this is the hook, right? Like, what if it was all free? And I can't work for you for free, but what I can do is I can show you how to offset the price that you will pay us and pass that on to your buyer. And some people pass it off to their seller as well. Some people pass it off to both, and ultimately can turn transactions into a profit center. So now you're not doing the ads, the interviews, the hiring, the training, the management, and then when that person leaves you in 2 months, you start it all over again, right? Because guys, I'm gonna give you a little insight. None of you are as old as me, but I'm going to tell you, there becomes a point in your life where 3 months or 6 months of a year, it goes just like that, and then you're like, well, I had these goals. I was gonna do 100 deals this year, but now I'm 6 months in and I've done 10. You're never going to get to that 100, right? So you've got to start to look at things in terms of, how can I spin the wheel faster to get to my goal, right? Because I'm sure you guys would like to be retired by the time you're shit, some of you guys look young enough to be retired at 35, right? So how do we get you there, right? Well, we got to build that business up to a point where you can actually do that, or even be kind of partially retired. So that's what I got, Rich. I mean, guys, I know this is a difficult, and we're going to open up to as much Q&A, but some people don't want to talk about their specifics. So take out your phone, scan that. That's just going to jump you to a page with Rich and I. Underneath a little video of us, there's going to be a little blue box that says book a call. And then, yeah, that's my schedule, that's my team's schedule, and pick a time, and we'd love to get on a call with you and really dial in, like, here's what it would cost for your number of deals. Here's how we can show you how to offset that. What is it that you're trying to do in your business, and how can we help you get there? Because, guys, I'll promise you there's no vendor in this entire industry that's more interested in helping you grow your business, because the more you grow, the more we're going to grow, right? When you're doing, like Rich is doing 30, 40, 50 deals a month, like, that's good for him, and it's great for us too. So, we're very invested in, making sure that you get there. So we'd love to help you with that. And yeah, book a call, and we're going to chat some now. If you haven't gotten this, I'm going to close the window. So go ahead and scan it now. But yeah, that's what we got, man. Love to answer all the questions.
Thank you. That was good. And guys, like, we're going to open it up for questions right now. I can just tell you from personal experience, once I brought David and his team on, it did take a big burden. And especially if you're trying to scale for however many deals you're doing now, if it's one deal, if it's 10 deals a month, whatever your comfort level is, to take it to the next level, the paperwork will be uncomfortable. Whether it's going from 3 to 5, or if it's going from 10 to 20, you're going to reach a point, because the more you scale, the more chances you have one of those deals in there that's one of those faulty deals where something comes up and then automatically it's a huge bandwidth suck, because you're like, okay, here's a problem I don't know how to solve. Now I've got to find the answer, then I've got to do the thing and all that. But it's kind of like, I'll tell you, when I went to Hawaii one time, there was one time I didn't get insurance on my rental car, and I got an Escalade, and we're going in the parking garage up a ramp, and I hit the button to release the back hatch, and it went up, and it busted the back hatch because it was a low parking garage. It was like $2,000 to fix this damn window, because I didn't want to spend $20 on the freaking insurance for the day. So I would look at it like that. I know, look, we all hate bills, and I'm the worst. I hate bills. Look how my business is set up. I hate bills. But I also hate losing opportunities, and I would rather have the bill is going to be less painful than losing the 40 or the 50 grand, because there's been several deals that they've saved for me. So I would just invite you to think that. I'm not trying to press you guys on a commercial, but the reason I'm bringing David on here is he really is that guy. You know what I mean? I wouldn't leave you to him if I wasn't using him and it wasn't working.
I mean, guys, we service all the big guys in the industry. Like, you go on our website, there's a list of all of them. I mean, Rich and Pineda and just all of them, right? All the big coaches. But yeah, I've got reviews for pages of guys like saved an $80,000 deal, was able to fire 2 people in my business, or get rid of them, or reassign them and take that money and put it into marketing. I mean, just over and over again. And yeah, I mean, we're very committed to your guys and helping you grow. So, I mean, if you're looking to scale, if you're doing 2 or 3 deals a month, 100% we should be having a conversation, because we'll make your life better. I'll make it a lot easier. Hannah and her team will make it a lot better. I'm just going to be on the Zooms talking a lot, like a talking monkey. But yeah, I mean, we can make it easier. So guys, what questions do you have? Even if it's not questions about us, if general title questions, things you're struggling with, what kind of deals you've got going on now, like I'd love to chop it up on all that. That's why I brought Hannah too, because she's
smart. And if you can raise your hand in here, guys, or put it in the chat, I've got a big one. I think I know the answer, but I want to ask you, because I haven't talked to you about this in like a month or two.
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
As far as I know, novations are a no-go. Can we clear the air? Is there a way that I don't know about, or what's the deal with that?
So I have attorneys there that will still close them. From what I understand from the LLR notes, the regulation is in regards to marketing the property prior to having ownership rights. And so like if you're listing it on the MLS like a novation, you're marketing it without ownership rights. You might have the authority to list, but that's not the same as being an owner of sorts. And so I have I have title companies that are still closing them. I've seen a large shift away from using local clients to using flat fee brokerages, because it's going to be much harder to hire a realtor because they are also regulated by this new bill. So from a title perspective, yes. From a actual regulation standpoint, we're seeing a big shift in South Carolina to installments.
Yeah.
So practically speaking, you can pull it off, but you're gonna have to dance around.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have more risk.
Yeah, you know,
Sure.
again, nothing's a problem until it is. You know what I mean? So until you get caught, but are there attorneys that are doing it right now?
Yeah.
Yes. Will that go away?
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
You best believe the minute that bill passed, I had an email ready to go out to like 50 different attorneys. I was like, I need all of your insight. I need to know what's going on. Can you do them? Can you not?
Yeah.
Like, what's the situation here?
I mean, do I think it's a law? 100%. I think everything about it's unconstitutional. However, the only way that you're going to overturn it is someone's going to pay $3 million in legal fees and contest it.
I've also watched a couple of larger clients that operate heavily there shift their focus towards building financial backing, and they're just buying. They're just straight up buying as much stuff as they can.
Yeah. So yeah, the alternative there is, first off, nobody's doing that many deals in South Carolina. Let's be real. Like, I get it that, and I'll talk about the danger, but like, I don't know that it's affecting a lot of people's business unless you're in South Carolina. But yeah, again, that's why we went out and found a bunch of different funding sources for our people. So if you do find a screaming deal over there and you need to close on it, cool. We've got people for you. The danger in this, lots of states have passed laws. None of them have been worth a shit. This one is. This one actually has some teeth to it. And, you know, they finally got their act together. The problem is going to be that I'm afraid that this law could zip across the country.
And it is. I'm seeing this in Pennsylvania right now too. I just haven't read the LLR notes, so I don't have any insight there yet. But it's definitely shifting in other states.
Yeah, but you know, one thing about investors is we have shifted faster than the government every single time. So, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we have one in Idaho that they were giving pushback to because there's a new law that passed in April. We're still getting it done, but I guess you have to be a licensed realtor to get paid on a transaction. So we found a way around that. But yeah, there's South Carolina is the big one.
Yeah. And
then Oregon's another one. People have been asking me about, and I don't really know, honestly.
Yeah.
We're still doing novations in Oregon. We don't see a lot of. We saw a huge pop in Washington and Oregon in 2021, 2022, when the market was going really crazy and everybody was buying. Those were super hot markets because the price of the homes is so much more expensive there that $100,000 spread is nothing compared to here where it is. And so we haven't seen as many in Oregon as we used to, but we do still close novations there.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, does the novation for like structure, does that sidestep a lot of these laws that are written because they're referencing assignment and marketing?
I feel like it does, because to me, you're no different than acting as an executor to an estate.
In a lot of states, yes, the novation process helps you get around it. In South Carolina, because the entire law is geared towards marketing the property without ownership rights, it doesn't. You can still be fined. I did find out that South Carolina first offense is like $5,000, then it's $10,000, then it's $15,000. So it's like, if it's worth a $5K risk to you, then it is whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you might get 20 popped off. You might get $100,000 deals popped off before they get you. You know, man, it's like the old days of putting out bandit signs, right? Clearly, nobody wanted bandit signs put out. Did we put out thousands of them? Yes. You know, did we end up paying $700 in fines at one point? Yeah. But you know, how many deals do we do because of it? So again, that is not legal advice, y'all. It's your own risk tolerance and what you're comfortable with doing. You know, just to be clear.
I'm telling you guys, I'm out, and it's just because there's so many other places to do deals. You know what I mean?
There's
like, why?
Don't come to Tennessee. There's enough people in Tennessee.
Yeah, other than
Just
Tennessee,
kidding.
no.
Tennessee's great. It's great for closing deals. There's enough people moving here.
Yeah. But no, man, you're exactly right. Like, there are plenty of other great states where you can be doing so much business that, you know, I wouldn't lose sleep over South Carolina. Would I keep an eye on it? Yeah. Do I think it's going to go across the country in 60 days? No. I think in 5 years it might, right? Because none of these states react that quick, you know? And what happens with these states, right, is, you know, some pissed off broker gets elected to the state legislature and they start proposing all of these laws because they hate wholesalers, right? You know, so that's...
The attorney comes out with a course. No, just kidding.
I know, man. Oh, God. Yeah. That's another conversation when we're not on the air.
That's a good
I
question.
bought the course because, like, hey, if you can't beat them, join them. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
I still got to make money. What's going on? And we got 3 installments going now.
Yeah, it's
That all hold it.
the idea of an installment is great. Some of the technical stuff, I mean, it's literally just a land contract. There's an easier and simpler way to do it, for sure. That's actually when I got popped by the Real Estate Commission in Tennessee back in like 2011. That was literally what my attorney told me to do. You know, go put it on, you know, some type of lease option or land contract for like 90 days and then you have ownership rights and then you can sell it. So it's not new. You know, I think it might be being a little overcomplicated.
I'm in the process of uncomplicating it for
yeah,
everybody.
we're trying to work with them and make it a little bit better, but yeah, but it's definitely an avenue, you know. And that's what I say. Like, don't ever get, you know, investors like it's the end of the world or the gurus or whoever it is gets on Facebook, because for some reason people love to talk about bad news on social media, but there's always going to be an answer, guys. Like you know, we as an industry will pivot far faster than any state legislature. You know what I mean? So there's just like with NAR and the buyer's rule, they figured it out. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't the end of real estate as we know it. They've just all got it worked out. So these things work out.
I'll tell everybody, stack your bread though, because the industry's going to get harder for people that aren't capitalized.
It will.
No
That's
matter what happened.
Yeah. The worst
Stack
case
your bread.
scenario is exactly that. Like let's take the pendulum and swing it all the way to the right. The worst case scenario is we go back to how it was before and you just have to close on stuff. But now, the good side, there's funding fucking everywhere. Dude, in 2009 when I came to Tennessee, like you couldn't find a hard money lender that would operate in the state. Now there's nationwide hard money people. So, you know, honestly, one, it will thin out the non-serious people, the people who aren't smart enough to get coaching and get into groups like this. So you're going to get rid of some of the riffraff, which is causing the problem to start with. And, you know, with less competition, we're going to get deeper discounts and get better deals. You know, you're going to make more money.
Compete with the bozos.
Yeah, you know, and as hard money gets more in demand, it's going to push those interest rates down, right? Because they're going to be competing with each other. So, man, I'm excited. I don't think there's anything but a good time to be in real estate right now. So all the people who want to leave can leave. You know, we know our business is growing. We're bringing on new clients every week. We brought on a couple today. You know, we're just seeing our file count and our deal size grow. So, you know, that's one thing about us is we, you know, when you come on and you're a client and you need kind of like, I can't tell you what Rich is doing in his business, but we can tell you trends. You know, we can say, hey, these are the states that this is working good in. This is, you know, kind of broad strokes, because I can't give you anybody's personal business stuff, but you get that advantage as well.
And with filing memos and notices of interest, that my ears definitely perked up because I've got a couple I got to file. What's the process with that?
Yeah.
We arrange the document and get it notarized, send it. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, so our service in regards to that is currently pretty restricted to just filing it for you. We're not legal professionals, so we can't actually draft your document. In some states, we have templates for them. And typically what happens in that scenario, especially if it's a file we're working on in the system, it's as simple as letting your coordinator know, hey, I need to file a memorandum on this one. Can you help? A lot of times those inquiries end up in my inbox, and it is, you know, I can look online very easily and see if it's a county we can e-file in, and not only that, which document, because there's memorandums, there's affidavits, there's notice of interest, there's notice of contracts, there's affidavit and memorandum. They're all slightly different, so it'll kind of tell me which one I can file, and then usually I'll just email you back and let you know. Sometimes it can be trial and error. It's also important to remember, like, not all counties have e-filing, and then above that, not all counties recognize the filing of a memo. New York, for example, it is pretty difficult and a stupid amount of money to get a memo filed. You have to have a lot of ammunition if you're going to do that. North Carolina, you can file them, but they have to be signed unilaterally by the seller and you, and they can be closed around because North Carolina passed a regulation that title companies don't have to recognize them as clouds on title due to past fraud. So there's like, can we do it? Yes, but knowing your legal rights, that is still your responsibility, because at the end of the day, you could be clouding title just to cloud title for the sake of hoping something comes back, right? But you could also be clouding title because you plan on suing someone for specific performance. Those are two very different legalities behind them, right? Does that help?
No, that's good. That's good, yeah, because it's always a pain in the ass
Yeah.
to file that. Sometimes they won't take it, even if you do everything right. I totally get that.
The columns, the margins got to be the right thing, and yeah. Guys, I got about 2 more minutes, and I'm scheduled to be on a podcast after this. What else? What other questions?
We have one last question.
I'm ready.
We have one last question. Someone, Omar asked Torrance County. Oh, I see Oscar. Go ahead, Oscar.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, buddy?
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing good, man. What's up, David? So I'm
Great.
currently an EZRI member for a couple of years now. They've been really great with us. But my question is double closing.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to get a lot more deals from realtors, and kind of find out realtors aren't very happy when I go and wholesale property.
What? Come on now.
So my question is, how are you guys handling your double closes now? Because I found one company who did it, but for some reason they just like simultaneous closes. They have a big issue with it.
That's a great question. So the simultaneous closings and or what we call a pass-through of funds. So everybody recognizes that double close is 2 closings, right? It's not an assignment. They're 2 separate closings. You're the buyer on the first leg and the seller on the second. A pass-through of funds would be where you use the funds from the second closing to fund the first and then fund the second. Not all title companies will allow for a pass-through of funds, and not all end buyers, lenders will allow for their funds to be passed through. And so sometimes if you can't get a pass-through of funding, or occasionally if you're in a county, a rural county, and like the first closing has to record before the second, you can have 24 to 48 hours between those closings. And so that's not uncommon. So there's a lot of factors there: the title company you're closing with, the end buyer's funding type. A lot of times, even on your double closes though, your buyer knows that you're an investor, right? The seller's not knowing because they're working with a realtor. But we handle double closes. We treat them like 2 separate closings, but we always try to put them with the same title company to try to, coordinate a pass-through if we can. If not, we partner with a transactional lender at 0.75%, which is well below the industry average. And as long as it's less than 72 hours, he will lend on the first closing before the second one occurs.
Yeah, the issue with it's actually illegal in the state of Tennessee to do it, right? It's actually in the statutes. The problem is, and I know we got to wrap this up, but with all of the fraud that's out there, this is coming from the underwriters: First American, Old Republic, Fidelity, WFS or WFG. It's coming from them, right? Because there's just so much nonsense out there, like wire fraud. You guys hear about this stuff all the time. So they're the people that are really clamping down. So it's fraud, man. It's no more than that. Because when I, was starting in, the mid 2000s, everybody did pass through funding. It wasn't even a big deal. So.
But we do handle them, and we do work with a lot of clients that pick up deals on the market with a realtor. That's fine. You just kind of need to understand, like, that realtor is going to want to see it moving with title well before you have a buyer. So you need to be prepared with a good enough timeline to be able to fit your buyer contract into that mold.
Yeah. So lots of places will do it. Not everybody will do it, and people who are doing it today may not do it a year from now. Is the only thing I can tell you. So again, this is why we lined up transactional funding for you guys. Like literally, I think they send me $50. We're not getting rich off it. I want to make sure that you guys have a place to go.
Man, we appreciate you, David. We appreciate you, Hannah. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules with your 1,000 deals going to come here and talk to
Well, we have 17
Appreciate
coordinators
that.
out there doing all the stuff. So,
Man, I love it, man. I love it, dude. So definitely appreciate you guys. Guys, if you came in late, or for those that weren't able to make it, we are going to put this recording in the private Facebook group. But yeah, definitely, if you have any questions for them, you guys can book a call. You got the info. If you have questions for me, let me know. Let's keep using the group. We've got the Rainmaker Summit coming up on August 16th too. So the tickets for that are in the group. It is a free event, but if you sign up and you can't make it, let me know, because I am buying food and drinks and everything for everybody. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna be out here partying in the new penthouse. Nice. So it'll be awesome, man. But yeah, thanks, Dave. We'll sign off for now, and I'll see you guys next time.
See ya.